What's up, everybody? Shawn here with another live to roll. We're back with you guys again this week with another cool topic. Gonna be talking about some independence, finding your independence, and what that journey's like. So yeah, we'll get into some intros. We got our buddy Niko joining us today. Sorry about the late start, everybody. We just had a little bit of we'll call it technical difficulties coming in,
Kids.
and
We'll call it kids these days.
But yeah, so I'm Shawn. I'm a C5, C6 quad from a snowboarding accident 20 years ago. Bobby, go ahead and take it, and then we'll let
Yeah,
Niko.
no problem. Hey, I'm Bobby Rohan, C5, C6, 35 years ago here in Southern California. But you know us too, and let's introduce our guest, our good friend Niko, who is just still
Okay.
trying to figure out some things, but getting into life a lot faster. And uh, really proud for how fast you've come and how long way you've come in such a short time. So, Niko, take it away, bud.
Guys, I'm Niko, and I am a C45 quad, and I was injured 3 years ago from a pole diving accident in Reno, Nevada. So love to be with you guys. So
Yeah, thanks for joining, Niko. Man, that's why I know you're kind of like. That's why I wanted to have like your story, your journey on here because you're just starting kind of the independent journey. You just got a super pubic catheter to help with some independence and stuff. Like that's a big thing. You're trying to work to getting a manual chair. So just like all cool stuff. So we want to hear about that kind of stuff. Um, and then me and Bobby can talk about kind of our journeys um, and yeah,
And
how.
kind of what's expected and what, you know, a lot of people have these misconceptions about what you should be doing 6 months, a year, 5 years after your injury. And we're going to talk about all that, you know, stuff that could be lying on the surface that you have to realize everybody has their own journey.
oh yeah,
Yeah.
oh yeah,
So, so yeah, we can get into that. And so, what is Niko? What's it been like for you? You're 3 years in. You said now, right? That's what.
yeah.
So what's the year to year been like? How's like year three now been compared to your first year?
Um,
This year?
I'll tell you, it's a lot different than year one. I definitely have recovered a lot in my number one. I when I first got out of the hospital and did my first year with the injury, it was I couldn't feel my sternum. I had no movement in my legs, and it was just confusing. I was like, "What the heck am I supposed to do with all this?" And year three is now I've got full feeling in my body, and be able to go out and do sports and activities, mostly independently. And the work I got that you mentioned has been a lifesaver. It has made me that much more independent and that much more able to go out and do things without having to worry about an accident. So year three is 100% different than year one. I guarantee that. So.
Usually is. Usually is.
Yeah.
Start from the beginning, Niko. What were you doing, before your injury? You're pretty young, as we both, can tell. And, uh, you know, but tell us a little bit about, who you were before and, you know, up to the day of that diving accident.
Absolutely. So I was living in Reno, Nevada. I had been living there for about a year and a half, and I was working for a moving company out in Tahoe, California. So I live like 30 minutes away from Tahoe, California, and I worked for a moving company out there. And I was athletic. My weekends. I mean, I spent a lot of time working. I didn't have like a need to go and do other things, so I spent a lot of time working. But when I wasn't working, I was playing sports. It was basketball, football, soccer, anything I could get my hands on. It was that's what I love to do, and other than that, hang out with friends and living a typical young adult life of partying and all that stuff. And then I was had just finished basketball that day actually, which was March 28th. I just finished coming back from the local courts in Reno, and I had just bought a pair of shoes, which I was excited to wear because I'm a huge basketball player. I just got a new pair of outdoor shoes, and I went to go swimming because, in all reality, there was a cute girl out in the apartment complex, and she invited me to go. And being a guy, I wasn't going to refuse that. So I ended up jumping into the pool and um, you know, doing a typical guy thing of, hey, you want a beer? And so we had beers, and then it was probably around 8:30 or 8 o'clock ish that I we decided we were in the hot tub and it was getting cold because in Reno at the time it was snowing and pretty cold, and so we decided to jump into the pool, thinking, hey, if the pool's colder, the hot tub's going to be warmer. So I guess I dove in. I don't recall this part, but I dove in and I hit my head at the bottom of the 4 foot section of the pool. And I instantly knew because I went to go up for air and I was like, yep, I'm not going anywhere. And then I passed out underwater. I don't remember a thing from the time I hit my head till I woke up in the hospital. Threw up twice in the MRI machine, and then I was like, told the nurse, "Hey, I threw up," and passed out again. Where I woke up in a hospital bed with no movement.
Yeah.
Dang, man.
Yeah.
I don't think I've ever heard your full story actually like that.
Well,
Yeah.
But
yeah,
yeah, man, that's
So,
yeah. Uh-huh.
so you're pretty athletic before your injury, and here you are. You have one of those, hanging out nights and diving into something where you bang your head. We've heard this story from time to time.
Oh yeah.
Um, you know, but you're out there. What brings you out here now? You're in Southern California. I know you're close to us. And was it the type of rehab? I mean, I kind of know some of your backstory, so I'm kind of leading, and I know how. But let's wanting our audience to know.
Yeah, absolutely. So, when I got injured, the first 2 weeks were in the hospital in Reno, Nevada, where both my parents flew out, and my mom's met me at Reno, the hospital. And I, had to decide: did I want to stay in Reno, Nevada, or did I want to move back to Cali, closer to family and friends, and possible better rehab? And we did our research, and we found out that Reno didn't have the best disability services for the state of Nevada.
Mm.
So after talking over with my family and kind of decide, I went to Casa Colina out in Pomona, and I got air flighted down there. And on top of that, my family was close up to visit. And we had heard that Casa Cleaner was a good rehab center, but we had to fight to get a air flight to get over to like Ontario so that I could go to Casa Cleaner, and it was a mission. And on behalf of my parents, I was able to go. I mean, they spent countless nights up at the hospital, and countless nights up in their hotel trying to coordinate everything. So, but yeah, I was to be closer to family and get better rehab than I might have had in Nevada. So.
nice, man.
Cool, cool.
And is that where you kind of got connected down here first with Triumph and started doing some adaptive sports and things as well? I know because you've
I,
kind of really, or not
yeah,
yet.
actually, no, it wasn't. I chose to kind of shelter myself for about a year. I When I left Cascalina, I went to what's called a congregate living home, and I went to New Start Cliffs, where I spent about a year and a half ish there, learning to be able to kind of be independent. They are a little bit better of a facility in that sense because they're more like a rehab center. They're a congregate, but they're more like a rehab center where they try to get you to learn to be how to be independent on your own, and then try to push you to move out in the real world. And so I spent a year and a half there. I actually met Andrew. I want to say maybe anywhere from 3 to 6 months in that facility because he knew the owner, and she coordinated a meeting with us. And he told us all about Triumph. I missed a big important part. Sorry, Lewis, out there, Lewis and Triumph. Actually had a connection with Triumph at Consequina, where Lewis, who runs, all the stuff out there, dropped off a backpack for me, but I never got to meet him. I just got the backpack that had Triumph, all the child stuff in it,
because
and
you were there during 3.5 years ago, so that was COVID days. So we weren't
correct, and
Triumph
it's
wasn't able to go in. We were just able to say, "Hey, things are coming your way" by phone and things like that. So that must have been pretty tough going into first ER and up there where it's COVID. Everybody has to wear a mask and all that crap, and you're isolated. So that must have been pretty hard, being injured during those COVID days.
yeah, it was, and a lot of my time in the rehab was driving in the power chair they gave to me, just mobbing down the hallways. I was so bored. I mean, I made decent friends with the nurses and stuff that I could talk to them, but it's a hospital, it's a rehab, so there's not much time for them to talk. And I was bored. There were not really that many people my age at that time in the hospital, and I looked forward to therapy every day because it had some kind of physical interaction where I could participate in something. But yeah, it was definitely rough, and I felt kind of bored and alone. And I was lucky because Lewis snuck in there for me and actually dropped it off himself instead of just dropping it off. And I'll never forget that. Because
Yeah,
years later, I met him at the Abilities Expo, and I'll never forget that I heard Lewis's name being thrown around all over the restaurant or the bar, and I was like, "Is that Lewis from Triumph? Is that the guy?" And I actually got to meet him in person like 2 years after I got injured, so it's pretty dope story. But yeah,
yeah, that's pretty awesome.
Yeah, no, that is cool, man. And I'm glad that you didn't stay isolated from the community. Kind of came part of it.
Yeah.
Um, so yeah. Oh,
So
we lost your audio. Or were you still there?
yeah. Can you hear me?
Oh, there you go.
yeah,
Never mind. You were
yeah,
good.
yeah. So you said, you get out of CASA and then the facility that you went to, you kind of isolated yourself. Tell us about the isolation, what was going through your head. And
Yeah,
it's probably pretty similar to a lot of people out there that's listening now.
yeah, absolutely. So, me when I went to that facility, they did rehab and stuff as well, and I got to live with people who actually a lot of them were already quads or you know had some form of disability like that. And I was not proud of who I was at the time. I was angry that I was injured. Number one, I was upset that I had to go through this. I figured that I would recover really quick, like I've always done with most injuries, and this was not one of those. So I had a lot of anger. I had a lot of resentment, and I was ashamed, to be honest, of who I was and how I had to live my life now. So I chose to just stay at that facility, inside the facility, or close to it, and I would do my therapy and all that, but I didn't feel like associating with other people. And I met a lot of people while I was there that were like Andrew and other people that came and went throughout that facility, to say hi and bye, but it didn't change my thoughts. I was like, I do not want to live this lifestyle. I never thought I'd be in this position, and so I chose to just hide. And it took some pushing from the people in the house. It took some pushing from the outside community, and it took some pushing from my family to be like, hey, you can still live an active life. You can still go out there and do things. You just got to want to. And I had to find that want, which came almost a year and a half later. So,
Yeah. Did you ever have any thoughts?
as in suicidal. I hate to bring that word up, but I feel like, I'm not going to lie about it. I did, especially in the hospital where during COVID, it was extremely hard to be by myself. And it does cross your mind. You're like, I just wish I could die. I never had the thought of how I do it, but I definitely had the thought of I wish I was not on this earth anymore.
Yeah.
Um, I think I'm not, I can't speak for everyone, but I think a lot of us go through something like that. And it's a rough thought to have because, before my injury, I never would have had that thought. And right now, I probably wouldn't have that thought because I've gotten comfortable and accepted who I am. But it did cross my mind, and it was definitely rough.
Plus, I knew where your parents were living. It was probably hard for them to get, all the way down to Casa, um, which they had to go through pretty much LA, and it wasn't probably a pretty drive for them. So it must have been pretty difficult for you
Yeah,
not
they would.
being able to see them.
Yeah, they would come by once or twice a week if they could. Other than that, it was just me, the therapist, and the nurses, and yeah, it was rough for sure.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah, it makes it a lot harder being isolated like that in rehab.
oh
But
yeah.
yeah, man. So what else have you now be like in year three now? What are you doing independently for yourself and stuff that you're maybe you thought was going to be impossible in that first year when you were still back in rehab?
Yeah, so I am able to pretty much go out anywhere on my own for a decently long period of time. Um, I have, I take public transportation mostly because as much as I have an access card, they're a little on the slow side, and sometimes
Yeah.
it's faster for public transportation to get you somewhere than access per se, and they don't reach quite the distances that public transportation does all the time. So I go out, I'm out and about at least every day, if not more. And I try to just go out. I go to the store. I go, to the mall. I go to the movies. I go to rugby practice. I go to anything I possibly can to keep myself entertained or not in the house because, I don't like being alone and by myself. So I always try to find something out in the community to do. Um, and that was something that, I had never really thought about doing and wasn't going to push myself to do. And now, I can't stop myself. It's like, it's almost um, and that's, right now I'm working on, like you said, getting a manual chair and learning to transfer. I have some pretty gnarly spasms that to this day have not really been able to stop. So transferring into like a bed or a car or anything is extremely hard for me just due to those spasms. And I feel like going to rugby practice and doing all those exercises helps. But I run into the problem of insurance and fighting with them about do I really need therapy? How do I get it? And it's the big one that's slowing me down right now is the insurance, and also money wise is I don't make a lot, and I have uh, and what is it? Private therapy is kind of expensive and out of my pocket right now. So I was just
Yeah.
trying to balance all those things at once and trying to find a way to, substitute something for something else. So
Cool. Cool. I want to get to our chat real quick. We got Michelle. I think that's Misha. Tell me if I'm correct on your last name. Is that Misha?
Yeah, it's me.
And
Yeah.
then, yeah, and then we got Ben in the house. We got Olivia in the house. Hip Crip, what's going on? And of course, we got our lovely Miss Fluke in the house. Got Doug from Walk and Roll Live. Check his show out. He's on the podcast, and he has some great shows. So, Doug, welcome in. Glad you can join us. Like the show. I think it was 2 weeks ago or last week. Correct me if I'm wrong on the Paralympics, and we have some exciting things about the Paralympics coming up that Shawn's going to announce soon. Nicole, glad you can be with us, and then Leon and anybody else I might have missed before we started the show because my chat doesn't go that far back. So welcome. Glad you can join us. If you have any questions about or thoughts or comments about your first few years of your disability, and yeah, Mish, I just saw your email, so I got to get to it. And so, if you have any thoughts or comments for either Shawn or I, or especially Niko, about your first 3 years, let us know because um, those are the first rough times, and some people get them through quicker, and some people it takes a lot longer than just 3 years.
I
What
think
was? Go ahead,
uh,
Shawn.
I was gonna say I was always told like early on, like I don't know, I don't remember who said it, maybe you or some, but it said it was like especially for quads, it's like a 5 year learning curve window. Like when you hit about year five was when you kind of like really kind of figuring it out. You're like become independent and you're like kind of doing your thing like fully. Like some people probably can be accelerated, some people may take
Oh
longer. but I
Yeah,
feel like that's like a solid average because it takes a while. Everything's so hard to adapt, to figure out, to get like, like just it is baby steps. You got to figure out one thing at a time. So
exactly. And I think for me, I remember that 2 year point when I hit that. That 1 year is like where you're, saying that poo poo me kind of, um, you know, I, I don't want to be in this position. But it was year two when I went, okay, things have not changed in the sense that, movement is not coming my way. I just watched a video how they're still on mouse or rats at the time. I can't remember what it was, probably mice. Um, and and I was just starting to get some independence. Like my pushing my own manual wheelchair was starting to come along, and I just finally got a car where I was able to drive. So mine was like a 2 year point, and then, like you said, Shawn, 5 years. I was like, you know, all right, I just already done school, got a job, pretty independent, playing quad rugby for the last 2 years. Kind of like you, Niko. I think I started playing rugby about 2.5 years after my injury, 3 years, something like that. When our and the team you guys are on, Northridge Knights originated. Funny story with Northridge Knights. The Knights was named after the therapist. We had put together like 10 names and let the therapists all at Northridge Hospital vote on it. And the Knights became the name because of the therapist at the time. And I think that was in 92. So that's
yeah,
how far it goes back.
That's crazy. I didn't know that you guys started in '92. That's crazy.
Believe it or not, yeah.
he's one of
Uh,
the like original like OG rugby players. He's been playing for since they didn't even have the real rugby chairs. Like straight like pretty much
oh,
every
yeah.
chairs, just smashing ankles and shit, dude. Like crazy. Yeah.
Breaking our spokes. Yeah. So,
Yeah,
so
smoke. I can't imagine, dude. But it is awesome that yeah, Nico's now coming out year three. He's been coming to rugby this whole like most of this last year now, trying to order a rugby chair, got a grant and stuff. So um, that's
Shout
like
out,
just awesome.
yeah, shout out to I'm blanking on their name now because you put me on the spot. Kelly Brush. Shout out
Kelly
to Kelly
Brush.
Brush. Getting me started with that as well. So
great. So you're putting in a grant now?
yeah, so I got the a $4,000 grant from Kelly Brush to get a rugby chair, and I'm trying to figure out how to exactly use it to because I'm gonna just quote it as it is. It's a rugby chair was quoted to me at $8,000, and I have to come up with the other 4 grand, which is where finances come in. It's one of those other struggles is what grants come up faster than my deadline for to use the Kelly Bush grant.
We can talk
And
about that. There's other ones, and you can try, Triumph Foundation um, and maybe High Fives. See if they have anything for you to offer because,
I
and
know
just, and as I tell everybody about grants, do your research on Google. I mean, find out what is out there because you will find them, and I know people do.
Yeah, I found several on my own. I think Victoria's Victory Foundation was one that I hadn't heard about before. I found that this year at some point, and they're kind of like Kelly Brush, where they have a couple cycles every year for both sports equipment and wheelchairs and accessible housing and stuff like
Mhm.
things for your house. So like you said, do your research online and talk to other people because they'll know that you don't know, and be able to connect you with people. I'll tell you that's one thing that actually, you know, being a person I had to do was make a lot of connections, and it's hard because you don't feel comfortable per se telling people your cares, your needs, your wants, whatever, and you have to kind of get into that rhythm. But once you do, the world opens up to you because there's people who know things out there, people with experience. Like Bobby, like Shawn, who just can, give you the run up. It's like, hey, I've been doing this for so many years. This might work for you. And again, not everything is going to work for everyone, but they can at least give you a step in the right direction to try to figure out the best way to do it for yourself. So that's a big one, is finding those resources and connections with other people to be able to move on and get better at anything and everything.
So what was, what changed for you in that after that year of kind of isolating yourself? What was that switch that kind of helped you switch over from saying I don't want to isolate myself anymore. I want to get out there and be around others.
Yeah, so I think Triumph had a big part in that. I kept seeing all their events and kept getting invited to them. And I said to myself, hey, if everybody else can do it, then I can do it. And I need to just, you know, get up and get out there. And I also had a director of nursing operations. Her name was Alyssa, who really pushed me to try to go and do things and be independent. She said, "Look, you can't just sit around the house all day for the rest of your life. Go out and do something. Go out and go to the store. Go out and do this. Go out and do that. But do it for you, not because I'm asking you to, but because you want to." And words of encouragement from a variety of people just kind of got me into like, hey, I've been sitting around for too long. What can I do to make my life that much more, appealing and like so I'm not so bored. And part of it is boredom kicked in. I was so bored. I was tired of being on my phone, tired of watching TV. And when you go out there with the community, and there's a lot of things that open up to you: sports, activities, support groups. And so, when you get out of that mindset, you get a hey, the world has opened up to me, and there's a lot more to do than just be inside my home all day.
Yeah.
Yeah, man, that's a definitely. And Leon, thanks. Shouted out. Live to Roll is a great resource. Like, but it is all about having good resources, good people, community, things that connect. Like you can't figure this all out on your own. So.
Yeah, 100%.
How was it when you first went out?
Honestly, it's been so long since the first day I went out that I don't even remember what the first thing I did was. It was probably like the store or something, but I remember there was a sense of freedom. There was a sense of, hey, I've been cooped up inside, and the sun is great, life is good, and I'm going to the store right now to get some food or something. And it really, for me, it was a feeling of satisfaction. Hey, I'm out here. I'm back out doing something, that I used to do, which is just going outside. And
Yeah.
that small satisfaction bloomed into what it is today, where I have no fear of going outside at all, no fear of talking to anybody. And it blooms once you get that first taste of freedom. So
And I know when we first get out there, this might resonate with a lot of others. It did for me maybe a split second, but it really didn't affect me. But did you have that, oh my gosh, people are staring at me kind of effect, which I know a lot of people have that issue, and they still a lot of times can never really get over it. And did you have that? Do you still have it?
yeah, so I definitely, when I first got injured, that was my biggest one. Even just laying in a bed or being, with a physical therapist, that's how I felt. Was 100% everybody staring at me. The first time I went out, I honestly, I don't think I paid attention to everybody around me because I was just so excited to get out of the house. And I did, when I was wearing like a bag or anything that had urine in it, I was kind of a little more self-aware
Mhm.
because I was like, oh, that's a little embarrassing. But I think I adapted pretty quick to the whole people staring at me thing. I was just like, you know what? If the haters, if they want to stare at me, they're going to stare. There's nothing I can do about it. And now you could take me anywhere and I have no, I'd go up to the person staring at me and be like, hey, do you have any questions about this? So yeah, it was definitely not as bad as I think some people might have it, but it was there depending on how self conscious I was about things on me or around me. So
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, I
Real
think we
quick,
all do
go
that.
ahead.
I was gonna say we definitely all go through that. Like at the beginning, like I remember feeling like uh, that mix of like it was great to be out, but also just like I felt like everyone was kind of looking, staring at first. But now I don't even like I don't even think about it.
No, I've always been the person that was the person staring. So when I got out, I was like you, Niko. I was happy to be out, and then I was staring at others like, you're staring at me, but look at what you're wearing, dude. I'm sorry, that is a odd looking shirt. So
Right.
for me, I made it the other way. I made it like you're the odd one. I'm not the odd one. You just
Uh,
all I got is yeah, and I'm sure you're staring at me and you're jealous about my wheels too. So, you know, because the haters are gonna hate. So
yeah. Percent do that same thing. I make it kind of like a competition of who will look away first, and it's never because I have no problem staring other people down, and if they want to give me a funny look, that's on them. It's not on me. You had said something, Shawn, and it kind of brought up thought I had. Dang, I can't remember, but you had said something earlier, and it reminded me of something that I felt like too. I can't. What did you say before that comment?
The last
um,
not being resources or just like having people community and stuff to help, like to lean
No,
on,
it was
push
a
you.
comment just before this, before Bobby spoke.
Oh, what was that last one then?
we both have brain injuries, or all three of us probably have brain injuries. So
I
who knows?
definitely had the slight teeth back for sure.
Yeah. Hey, before we move on, I wanted to shout out to Nicole and thanks Leah for stepping in there for Nicole about company supplies. And remember, we got our sponsors, Urology Supplies. They are nationwide, so maybe Nicole, give them a call. Look them up on the internet at Urology
You're all,
Professionals.
yeah, you're all,
Urology professionals, and they might be able to help you out. Welcome to the chat, Share Life. If you want to watch our or Thursday, last Thursday, I featured your Hook It again on I had a resource day or on for Rolling Over the Hill. So check that out because it's been awesome and I already gave one away, so I got to order another one, Chad, or a couple more. Um, and
Just a just a real quick question. I saw Zachary Battles is in the chat, and he said
yeah,
C4C5 watched you in the hospital. 5 years later, I'm on my own. Were you speaking to somebody in the chat, Zach, or was that to me? Just out of curiosity, because I don't know if I remember you from Cascalina, maybe, but I just saw that comment and I was curious.
I think maybe watching the Live to Roll in the hospital, and then
Oh,
now 5 years
yeah.
later, he's living on his own. Which
There we
Zachary, that is so awesome, big accomplishment.
go. Yeah, shout out, dude.
Definitely wish you were here with us and talking about some of that. So welcome in. We got Matthew in the house. Welcome, Matthew.
Matthew,
And
that
we,
is one of my homies. What's up,
yeah,
Matthew?
that's one of your homies. I know who he is. And then Hip Crip just said he got one through Kelly Brush, and September 1st, which is a great reminder, is the Challenge Athletes Foundation grants are opening up, and they definitely have tons of money they give out, and so that's another avenue. So good luck there, Hip
I
Crip.
believe,
Most
I believe,
likely he's going for a rugby chair as well, if I know Hip Crip.
and also real quick, I
I
just want to
believe Kelly Brush
Zachary.
opened. Sorry, go ahead, Shawn.
I was just gonna say Zachary also mentioned just at the end there he's been struggling a lot lately. Just sorry to hear that. And if you need to reach out to anybody, you can reach out on Instagram or anything. We're all, I think, even Niko is open to talk if you want to message him. He's on the
100%.
gram
Hit
a
me up
lot.
anytime. Yeah, I don't
So
sleep, so.
shout out your Instagram, Niko.
Oh,
Probably
yeah.
if you can help it, and it will be in our description. If you need a little bit of help, Zachary, because look us up on our Instagram in the chat. We can help out, and then definitely do a personal phone call that way.
I have both Nico's personal one and Rolling with the Crew Instagram because that's another thing Niko kind of started up with some friends. Is it's basically just a meetup hangout group and it keeps growing. They welcome everybody pretty much. You can message them. They always post where they're meeting up, hanging out, doing stuff. So awesome
Yeah.
crew.
I also wanted to say that Kelly Brush, I believe, has opened their grant application or is opening their grant application soon as well for their second cycle for sports equipment. So look into that as well. for those of you who are looking for grants for equipment and stuff. So
Yeah, absolutely. And um, Kelly Brush, and they helped me out tremendously with my hand cycle, getting out on the bike again after 35. Well, it was 33 years because I've been doing it for 2 years. It's been amazing to get on the bike again when I wanted to be a professional cyclist. And if I'm not on the bike, I have a miserable day. So today I wasn't on the bike, so I'm in a miserable state. But I love my bike so much, and thanks to foundations out there like Kelly Brush, like Challenge Athletes, like High Five, like Triumph, like so many out there that you can dig up and give back into life. I know sometimes people say to me about these foundations that, well, there's criterias. You had to be into sports and that. Yes, I know it's tough, but there are ones that don't have those criterias. They want you to move on with life. So look that up because there are avenues out there to get that kind of equipment that you might enjoy. I know there's one in Florida. I can't, oh gosh, Daryl Gwynn. I'm not sure if that foundation is still running, but I had a friend who got his wheelchair through Daryl Gwynn Foundation. He was a drag racer in the 90s that got paralyzed and lost a leg and an arm. So he was a quad and a double amputee with no arm and no leg.
Wow.
Pretty brutal. And he started the Daryl Gwynn Foundation that got my good friend who um, had a brachial plexus injury along with his paraplegic. So they were able to supply him with a one arm wheelchair, manual wheelchair. And he still pushes his own wheelchairs. You know him, Shawn Hoball.
Oh yeah, I
So
know. Oh yeah.
yeah, yeah. So he went through the Daryl Gwynn in Florida. So many avenues out there.
Yeah, no, that's
um, I wanted to give a huge shout out to Chair Life. He's one of the FARs of he or she is one of the FARs of Rolling with the Crew. And also, I think Ben asked what state I live in. I know Leah responded, but for those of you who don't know, I live here in California, Los Angeles. So
Yeah.
yep. Yeah. Niko's local out here. So I've been seeing him at rugby practices
I
and
don't I don't know if y'all could tell. I might spasm when I do this, but I got that surfer blonde hair. Wouldn't be a Californian without it.
I used to have it. I used to have it. I'm a, maybe not anymore.
Sadly,
Stupid.
sadly, sadly, the sun took it.
So I'll be making fun of you when you're 55, and I can
Oh,
look
trust me,
at.
Bobby. I've got bald spots, and I know they're coming fast and quick because my hair is receding worse than I've ever seen it in a long time. So I'll be there with you in a few years.
Yeah.
uh,
Welcome to the party, pal.
Yeah, thank you.
uh,
So, big question here, Niko. What lies for you for the future here? You know, you're 3 years in. You're finally getting yourself, acclimated to uh, wheelchair life, quad life. You're into some rugby. You're hanging out with this crew. Um, Housing seems to be going okay for you. What's next? I mean, school, job, work,
Yeah,
family. What do you
yeah.
feel like?
That's one of those things that I've been toying around with. Number one is school and what I'm going to do for work. I've had some opportunities out there to get a job. I did a whole training program with the state of California to become a licensed uh, certified health worker, CHW. And I spent about 2 months in that class over at College of the Canyons, and I was taking all these courses and assignments and stuff. And I got the certificate. The only thing was they kind of promised me a job that I never got. And it was really disappointing. And I feel like every job that I've applied for since has been the same way. So I do run into disappointment more often than not with certain things. And it does suck. I really would love to work. I would love to be able to, put myself out there and get a job. I have found it extremely hard to, just because people see my injury, they see my level of injury, and they're like, yeah, I don't think he's a good applicant for that job. So that's one of the things that I'm struggling with right now to find as a job, and specifically one that's adapted for me in the sense that I can still do the job and not have to struggle with lifting too heavy of things or not being able to do a certain task at that job because of my level of injury. And family is good. We're they live 15 minutes from me right now, and we see each other every once in a while. Go out to dinner, have lunch, go to a movie, go to Universal Studios. I've done it all with them, so they're super close by, and I would like to find myself a girlfriend one day soon, hopefully. So that is in the possible ideas in my head to go down the road. And yeah, I
So
mean,
Nico's single, ladies. Just shout out.
all
Just kidding.
uh,
uh,
I I found that like school for me just has never really been an option. I tried for it a couple times before I got injured, and the first year I ended up failing college because I chose to party and focus more on the sports side of it than I did the school side of it. And then I did it again when I was living in Northern California, and COVID hit, and I just lost the motivation. So school is one of those
Yeah.
things that for some people and other people, you just got to find your own way. But I really believe that everything happens for a reason, and as much as I might be struggling right now, it's for a reason, and something good will come up. And I'm really positive. I try to be positive in everything I do because I don't have room for negativity. It just makes me not feel good. It makes my body worse, and so I just try to live with a positive attitude that my body doesn't get worse and my mindset doesn't get worse over time.
Yeah. No, that's great. You know, two quick advices, for my first job. I rolled in and it was summer break. I was trying to go to school to learn about my dyslexia and when I was told I have it and I rolled into a place where I was getting my wheelchair supplies and stuff like that. And I just said, hey, you know, are you hiring? And, do you have a job that I could do? And he's like, well, what can you do? And I'm like, I don't know, but if you hire me, you're not going to regret it. And a year later, I was, selling wheelchairs. I was making some great money off commission from all the chairs I was selling. I was bringing in power chairs from my car into the rehab centers. And sometimes I was bringing in the power chair and a manual chair, and I was getting people to help me. So it happens. And, eventually, I had girlfriends here and there. Um, but eventually, when I wasn't looking, then that's when I found the wife. So, it all falls into place when you least expect it sometimes.
Yeah,
So,
I live by that. There are some things I knew I least expected. It's been a real blessing. Um, you're right. You live by that, and you just hope for the best. And if something doesn't go your way, don't get upset about it. Don't get angry about it. It is disappointing, like I said, getting a job and a job has been, but I don't let that hold me back from doing what I want to do, anyways. Um, the Angry Quad had asked what level of severity I am. So I'm a C4, C5 quadriplegic. So I have no wrist function in either hand. This hand, especially my fingers, don't open as good as the other one that I'm holding my phone in currently. And I have feeling and some movement in my legs that has come back over the 3 years, but it's not anywhere near, like, per se, functionable to be able to just walk. So.
yeah, absolutely. So many of you in the chat shouting out where you're coming from. We have South Dakota. Where did I see? We got Delaware, Canada. I know you guys are spread all over. I can't remember where Nicole is exact. I want to say North Carolina or South Carolina. Chad from Chair Life. He's down in Texas area and Houston, I believe. So so many great people spread across. Angry Quad. I kind of forget where you are. I just know when I see YouTube videos. There's snow in the background every so often. Leon, Minnesota. So awesome to see everyone from all over and coming in and joining us. There's 21 people watching right now. Make sure you smash that like button, hit that like button. I know we got to wrap up and we got some due diligence to do because we got some great sponsors, and hopefully Nicole maybe give them a call and they might be able to help you out. So let's get to our sponsors. We have mobility professionals and urology professionals. Mobility professionals, if you're here in the Southern California area and Southern California, go check them out. They have both urology supplies and mobility for your wheelchair needs. They are people who use the products. They're people that sell the products that are users just like you and me. So check them out if you're here in the Southern California area. And then if you're not, like Nicole, check out Urology Professionals. They're nationwide here in the U.S. Paul in Canada, sorry, buddy. We just don't want to go up that way, so it's too cold. So urology professionals here in the U.S., they can help out with your needs. They understand what you're looking for. Hopefully, if they take your insurance and supply what you need for anyone like Nicole or anyone else there, they can help you out. So check out mobility professionals and urology professionals. And Shawn, do you want to talk about what we got coming up?
Yeah, I'll talk about the shows coming up. First, I'll actually just do a little announcement for the show on Thursday because it's the fifth Thursday of the month. We're doing kind of a bonus show. We're going to do kind of a live watch party on here because the Paralympics start tomorrow or tonight if you want to stay up till like 2, 3 in the morning and watch some of the opening ceremonies. But they'll be up tomorrow morning if you want to watch them on Peacock and NBC and stuff. So we're going to do some highlights. I believe we should be able to play highlights from the rugby game. They have a U.S.-Canada game the first day on Wednesday, and then there's a basketball.
USA.
So it should be fun. We'll probably stream the video on here, and then we'll talk and comment and just do some of the highlights because I can't do the full game and I can't do the sound and stuff, copyright, different issues and things like that. But we can play some of the highlights and we can share our opinions on stuff and talk about them with you guys. So it'll be fun to hang out.
Just a quick note for Paralympics. If you don't have Peacock and then NBC doesn't show a lot in the mornings when they're really going live, so check out USA. I believe they're going to show a lot of that kind of stuff. So check out USA on your local cable channels for those that might have cable. If you don't, and then really Peacock is what you guys just, I think I pay $5.99. What do you pay, Shaw? Or you just signed up for the Olympics?
It's like $7.99, I think.
$7.99.
That price is getting raised. I don't know if it's $7.99 to $9.99 right now or $5.99, but it's getting raised. I just got an email about it as well.
Okay. Oh, really? Well, luckily, I got locked in at $5.99 a couple of years ago for I watch cycling, so I'm locked in.
Crazy that they don't raise it.
Another good one is YouTube itself. I believe USAWR has linked their stream to YouTube, if I'm not mistaken. So
you might check out. Yeah, you might be able to find a lot on YouTube live stuff. So yeah, check out YouTube.
Yeah, it should be available on quite a few things, but Peacock is definitely, if you want to watch anything, everything, you just subscribe to Peacock for the month. I mean, $10 for your month, and you can watch the rest of the Paralympics or all of the Paralympics.
And that's what's great about Peacock is you can cancel anytime. So for 1 month to watch some great athletes, get it and then get out.
Yeah, and also little announcement: we have the Field Them bags. I have one of the cool backpacks. Niko actually has the same backpack I do. We actually have they gave us at the LA Expo. Oh, here it is. It's just a really cool sport water bottle holder. It's like fabric. It unfolds. It's got cool little like zip tie style like rubber straps. It's adjustable. But we're going to do a little raffle giveaway thing for that as well during the stream on Thursday. since Phelan was nice enough to gift us that, and I've just had it in a little giveaway box, waiting for something cool to give it away for.
Cool.
So yeah, check that
Nothing.
out too. What's up, dude?
I said nothing
I
like an
say cool.
Olympic event to do.
There you go.
Okay, so let's get to the rest of the shows real quick. Um, so tomorrow, Tom should be on for gaming with T Fizzle. If you guys want to check out gaming at 5 o'clock tomorrow, he should be on and streaming. If you want to hop on and game with him, message in the chat, and he'll get you added in there. They don't have too many people playing. And then, like I said, Thursday we got the bonus show. I don't have a banner for the bonus show yet here going. But the following Thursday, we'll have Rolling with the Golden Oldies coming back, which is an awesome women's aging with a disability show. So check them out. Julianne actually just got back, I think, from the Miss USA or Miss Wheelchair America pageant because she was Miss Wheelchair California this year, and I'm not sure if she won or not. Actually, we'll have to find out. I think they just did the results like yesterday or something. So, but check that out. They're talking travel next week on Thursday, and then of course Bobby's always back with Robert and Luis doing Rolling Over the Hill. So check their show out the following Thursday, and all the second and fourth Thursdays of the month. Make sure to tune in. They always have really cool guests and topics. And last time they just highlighted a bunch of cool adaptive tools and things that have been helping all of them. And they actually had guest Sarab filling in for on there as well. So, and just we'll shout out Monday Sarab. Hopefully he'll be back gaming if he's healthy enough. I know he's had some issues as well. So we'll get that going as well.
So just a quick shout out to Jeanette Nuts, and she said that she did not win the pageant
Uh,
contest. Oh.
okay. But boner show? I don't know what that.
Thanks for spoiling it, Jeanette.
And then finally, I think we have one more show to announce on the third Thursdays of the month. Check out the Wheel Girl Talk with the ladies. Tune in. I don't know what next month's topic will be, but they always have some interesting stuff to talk about and share their experiences on. Make sure to check them out. All right, so that is all the shows we have on the channel. Make sure to stay subscribed, click that bell so you get notifications.
And definitely check us out this Thursday for our boner show.
Boner show.
You're going to love
it. The boner show, yep. And make sure to follow Niko and Rolling with the Crew on Instagram. They always post a bunch of stuff. This guy is way more active posting on Instagram than I can ever be. So if you're on Instagram and you like to follow cool stuff, they're always doing fun stuff, fun activities. And check his stuff out. Niko.
One of the perks of being young.
Yes.
Yeah.
All right, Niko. So we'll let you kind of close it out. You have any kind of, after your few years of now of being injured and things, do you have any words of wisdom, anything you want to share that might help somebody else that's freshly injured, maybe in the hospital now, or, going to be hearing this when they're just kind of new or struggling with something?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, number one, do as much therapy as you can, when you can, however you can, and get that going because it does make a difference in your life, even if you don't think it will. It really does. And don't try not to be recluse or recluse or whatever they call it, because I found that the more I stayed inside, the more I hid away from everybody. I did get more depressed. I did get more upset. So try to, find a way to be active, whether it's just with your family, whether it's just with friends, whether it's doing a sporting event, small steps at a time, but get out there and do something because eventually it will wear and tear you down in a way you don't want to be. And, find those support groups, find those channels, like Live to Roll, find those foundations, find everything you can as a resource for yourself to be able to live the life that you want to live comfortably, even if you are, have an injury or in a situation you don't want to be in. find those people, find those resources, find those foundations that will get you to a better spot. Because I did all those above, and I am here 3 years later, happier than can be. And honestly, like everybody says, I'm sure I don't take this. I wouldn't take this injury back. I wouldn't go back to my normal life, because I've found so many cool people and so many cool things to do and ways of adapting that I struggled, and now I've found a comfortable place for me to be at, that I'm happy. So yeah.
Awesome, man.
Yeah,
No, that's really great. That's great to hear. Great and great for people to hear, because it is. Yeah, you make connections, you meet people, you have life experiences that like you wouldn't otherwise have, and it's not always the easiest some days, granted, but it's just you learn to adapt and live your life, man. That, but that was great, dude.
and real quick before we log off, Jay Willie series joined us. Finding independence is really difficult since I find it hard to find a job because I'm disabled. Um, words of encouragement, keep at it. There are places like the Independence Living Center. They're geared up and they're in every state and, bigger cities in your state to help you gear to find those types of jobs that might be out there for you. And they give you, the tools and the avenues to find a job. So look up your independent living center in your area. And also, there's programs out there like called Cal Optima, where you can get a job and save some money and not have your benefits affecting yourself. So there's some lot of great things out there that can help you guide you to getting a job where it doesn't affect your benefits, and you can start making the wagers. Because once you get on SSI instead of or SSDI instead of SSI, think that's what it is, SSDI, it's going to make things a lot easier. And if you can get off that Medi-Cal or Medicaid and get to where you can get some Medicare down the road after you've been working a while, it makes it a lot easier.
Yeah, so definitely that kind of stuff. It can be hard to navigate. If you do need help, try to reach out, find some help.
And then, real quick, I think it was Zachary that asked, shout out to our Instagram. So
Yeah,
I'm Robert Rohan, Rohan is my Instagram if you want to reach out. Shawn is Live to Roll.
I have
You can,
Liberal and Shawn Fluke, both of it, so you could do either.
so yeah. Mine's not Bobby, it's Robert Rohan. And then Niko, what is yours?
Mine is Niko period DA period BEST. So that's Niko period DA period best on Instagram.
Nico de
BEST.
Yeah, Niko period DA period BEST.
All right. Instead of do best, it's da best.
The best, yeah. So actually, the reason I came up with that handle was I shortened my original name, Nikolai, to Niko. Daniel is my middle name, so I cut off the rest of Daniel, and then my last name is Best. So I kind of just shortened all my names and put it in one handle. So it's kind of like
All right.
Nico the best, man. It works. And then also just shout out. Also, there's at Rolling with the Crew, and it's just Rolling with the Crew. I think all written out. Um, and they use
and
the
I
G on not rolling like we have. They use the G rolling.
and I have all of them tagged in my personal page. So if you find me, you'll have Live to Roll, Triumph, and Rolling with the Crew all with an at down in my bio. So check that out as well.
Awesome. So yeah, thank you guys, everybody. Appreciate you guys hanging out, watching the show. Hope to help. Nico, great job coming on. Thank you again for coming joining us.
Smash that like button, please.
Yeah, hit that like button. Make sure you guys are subscribed. And join us again on Thursday. Gonna hang out, talk, and watch a little bit of the Paralympics. So it'll be a fun kind of just hang out. And we're gonna do a little raffle giveaway. So come join, get a cool little water bottle holder, and watch some awesome stuff. All right, you guys, live to roll, everybody. We will see you guys next time.